Welcome back to the Map for College learning community. My name is Ernest Manelli, founder of My Action Plan for College. And our video today focuses on admissions regions. So colleges organize and review prospective applicants based upon a variety of different considerations, but the most important initial organization of an admissions office usually centers around geography, admissions regions. So for example, according to a home state, region, or country for international students, each application file is assigned to an admissions officer who has responsibility over a certain geographical region of the applicant pool. So, for example, you might have a student who applies from the Kansas City area in Missouri or Kansas, somewhere in that vicinity, and they might apply to a school in Texas. They might apply, let's say, to SMU, or they might apply to the University of Texas at Austin or the University of Houston. And maybe the admissions officer in Texas, maybe there's an admissions officer who has Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Arkansas. Maybe that's their territory. And then another admissions officer in the same office might have the New England states or the Pacific Northwest or, Metro Los Angeles County and Metro Orange County in Southern California. So each admissions office, based on the patterns of how many applications they expect to get from a specific region, many offices organize around the principle of geographical representation. So applications are read by your primary admissions officer, and then oftentimes an admissions file will be cross-read by a buddy within the office. So let's say if I am an admissions representative for a specific university, and let's say my geographical representation would be the Great Lakes region, and let's say one of my partner readers in the admissions staff has the southeastern United States, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. Let's say I would do the primary reading for my applicants. My colleague would do the primary reading for their applicants. And then we would cross read to make sure that each applicant theoretically would get two distinct sets of rubric scores within whatever rubric template that the admissions staff has determined. And then if the rubric scores are very similar, then that tends to confirm what each admissions officer has determined based on the initial reading. However, if the initial rubric scores among the primary reader and the cross reader, if the primary and secondary readers have very different interpretations of certain applications, then that oftentimes will go to a dean or an assistant dean of the admissions office, and that person will weigh in and sort of make a tiebreaker because initially admission staffs will screen out candidates that they really think are prime candidates for further consideration and exploration, and then other candidates who initially don't pass the muster and they might be the first cuts from training camp, to use a football term or a spring training term. They might get sent down to the minor leagues for further seasoning, or maybe um, for whatever reason, grade point average, strength of schedule, quality of writing samples, or just overall presentation of materials. Maybe it just doesn't quite meet the level of expectation that they're looking for, or correspondingly, there might be certain applicants that just stand out and that they really are excited about, and they want to get to know that applicant and read their file more fully. So readers assign specific rankings, and one of the considerations that you would have as an applicant, I would encourage every student to formulate a list of schools that has some degree of geographical diversity, and I'll explain why. If you think about it, most colleges and universities draw the primary momentum of their applicant pool, the primary volume of an applicant pool tends to be from within about a 200 to 250-mile radius of campus. So many applicants to the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana, they will come from, Western Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, that Great Lakes region. And of course, you will get applicants from other parts of the country and other parts of the world. But if you are an Indiana student applying to the University of Notre Dame, or a Metro Chicago student applying to the University of Notre Dame, there are going to be a whole lot of people like you or from similar backgrounds or even from the same school district that are applying to that same school. Whereas the University of Notre Dame might not have as many applicants from Cheyenne, Wyoming, or from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, things of that nature. So you want to keep in mind that if you are applying only to schools within your local area, you might really like your local area, but you might want to include at least one or two schools, maybe a few schools in your list that have some degree of geographical diversity, because you have to consider some of these schools are looking to increase their admissions footprint. They're looking to expand into territories where they may not have accepted an applicant or had an applicant matriculate from a specific high school or from a specific district or from a specific county or region. A particular school might say, wait, this is the first really qualified applicant that we've had who's very serious about our program. We want to give that applicant every consideration. And all things being equal, we might want to go the extra mile to get that applicant in the fold and have them matriculate. So when you think about regions, most of the primary regions of this country, application wise, would be Appalachia, including Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, states like that, Great Lakes region, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, the Great Plains, Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, the Mid Atlantic states, Delaware, District of Columbia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, the mountain states, Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, New Mexico, Wyoming, and Utah, the Northeast Corridor, Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, the Southeast Corridor, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, the Sun Belt states, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Texas, the West Coast and Pacific Rim, Alaska, California, Hawaii, Nevada, Oregon, Washington State, and then international schools. School, it could be students who are at Department of Defense education schools, DODEA schools around the world, could be students at American international schools, or it could be foreign nationals who are applying from schools from around the world. So if you're an applicant, I would encourage you to look at evaluation tools such as Naviance and other evaluation tools available through your guidance office. And also look at the percentage of students, if it's a public university, look at the percentage of students that they take from in-state compared to out-of-state. Look at the comparative admissions rates in-state and out-of-state. If it's a private or a public university, look at the trends of geography for the most recently admitted classes and just kind of get a sense of what level of geographical range you want to incorporate into your mix of schools. And we are happy to discuss those options with you for your specific needs. Once again, my name is Ernest Manelli. Please feel free to like this video, subscribe to our growing YouTube channel, and we'll have more great educational videos to come. Thank you so much.